Hello and welcome back to the RRR Station second video, even though this is honestly the third time I've tried to upload this video because first time it was too long, second time it was taken down because of some copyright infringement. I mean, all I showed was trailers. I don't know how that's infringing copyright. I mean, I'm advertising the film for them, but no point in arguing with it. So this is the third time. It's just going to be a podcasty thing, just unscripted general thoughts on this film. And if this gets taken down for some bizarre reason, I ain't gonna put this up again because I'm not giving them the satisfaction. But yeah, so okay, hope you enjoy, and let's get started. So here's Pacific Rim, Guillermo del Toro's a love letter to giant mecha and giant anime animations. I mean, this is the first film in 2013 that isn't actually based on a franchise, and hopefully this will be a big blockbuster and start of some, a new franchise in itself. And for me, I really hope it does. I really hope this film does well. That's one of the primary things I'm going to talk about. I hope this film succeeds, because for me, I love the giant robot genre. Four of my favorite shows are giant robot, well, at least anime. And if it's a genre that's done well, it's done absolutely right, it can be brilliant. But the problem is, and one of the reasons I'm discussing this now is because if it's done wrong, then it can be really disastrous. And this is the problem with the first trailer that came out for this film, the very first one. I was kind of worried. I mean, the actual information on this film before it came out, I was excited, especially since Guillermo del Toro had done it. This is the guy who gave us Hellboy, Hellboy 2, Pan's Labyrinth, all brilliant films. And he did a bit of work on The Hobbit, and to see him, instead of some other one who's trying to just be the next Michael Bay, to do this, and brings what is essentially a genre that hasn't really been to the mainstream itself, really. I mean, the closest thing we have is Transformers, I mean, and that doesn't really technically count in my opinion. But what I'm worried about here, and what's worried me about the trailers, is that I don't know if this is going to be the one that's going to sell audiences on this idea or not. And that's because this is the first time this has really happened. This is the first time we've got giant robots of this scale piloted by people. Stuff you see in anime, very famous ones like Evangelion, Big O. This is the first time this idea has been presented to mainstream audiences. I just don't feel like it looks like it's doing it the right way. I mean, the first trailer, my biggest problem was these effects don't look finished, and I don't know if they are or not. I could be wrong, but mainly in trailer shots, the money shots have to be ready. They're the ones that are filmed first, and here I can see some of them, but the effects are throwing me off. The effects just don't look finished, and this is my primary concern. It's just that I don't believe that these robots are here. I don't believe that they're on screen. I don't believe that I'm actually watching these things fight. I mean, they don't even look like they have the right mass, the right momentum, the right look. Even the textures are off. But I mean, the designs are fine. But God, these effects, they're a bit shoddy, and that's what's got me about this film. Because for me, this is something that I should be excited about. This is the first time this genre has been put on the screen for the first time. It's a genre that I really hold dear to my heart, and to see it it could have been so much better. Potential missed. It aggravates me. I mean, the effects could be wrong. They could look amazing on screen, but that's my biggest problem. These effects just don't look for it. I mean, the monsters, the stuff that's harder to animate looks better on screen than some of the robots. And I think that's mainly to do with what Guillermo del Toro's tried to do with the fight scenes. Every fight scene you see, at least from the trailer, the fight scenes are in they're in the night, they're in rain. Like, why put yourself at such a massive disadvantage? I mean, do it in the day, do it in clear at night. It's easier to animate at night, but putting rain on your robots and your monsters, it puts you at a disadvantage, because it's just harder to convince the audience that it's there in the rain. I mean, any effects person will tell you that. I mean, I use effects like that myself in the work I do at university, and it's difficult. It's difficult to get it look good in rain. So why they've done this, I don't know. I mean, maybe they felt confident they could do it, and maybe it's the style that they're going for, but that's what's throwing me off at the minute. But there are silver linings to this. What I really love about this film, and I'm going to quote Guillermo del Toro on this, is that this is a film not about a country saving the world, but a world saving the world, or at least all those countries on the Pacific Rim. And there are a lot of aspects I do like about this film, regardless of what I say about the effects. Like, I like the idea of each country submitting their own robot and each looking unique. I mean, I really do like the designs of some of the robots. The designs of the robots are fine mostly. I mean, I really like the Russian one. The Australian one looks pretty cool. Some of the ones, like the American one, looks a bit generic, and the Chinese one's kind of weird. Why has it just got? Why does it have 3 arms? Why not just give it 4? But yeah, and then the Japanese one, which I would have thought that if this is based on Japanese anime, you'd have the Japanese one be pretty like special, pretty unique. But and even its name, like Coyote Tango, it's like, why would you call the Japanese one Coyote Tango? Why not just give it a traditional name? It's just it's weird, and that's another thing. The naming on these robots, that's another negative thing. The names are a bit like weird and a bit silly, if anything. Like the Gypsy Danger for the American one, the Australian one, Cherno Alpha. No, Australian one, the Russian one, Cherno Alpha. Some of the names are a bit uninspired, but I can let that go. I'm fine with that. And some of the other ideas, like at the start, I thought the idea of 2 pilots piloting one machine was a bit silly. But after Guillermo del Toro explained it, how he done it, I was thinking, right, why would you give these robots to 2 people in synchronization? I mean, if one of them failed, then the robot's pretty much useless. But the way they explained it, it being like 2 brains of a hemisphere, sorry, a brain of with 2 hemispheres, just with each pilot representing one part because it's such a massive machine. I thought that was a cool explanation, and I'd buy that. So some of the designs and some of the design of the world I'm finding really interesting, and that's what's the thing. Each trailer that comes out, each new information is building me more and more up. Even when the first trailer kind of like had me a bit worried, each trailer's been selling me more and more on this idea that this could work. But again, each effect just looks unfinished and realistic. And that's my biggest problem, really. And another problem I may have with it is that even though this is essentially a film where it's just going to be enjoying watching giant robots beat the crap out of giant monsters, and there's nothing wrong with that. I want to see that. I want to see that on the big screen in IMAX. I want to love watching that. I just feel like, are these characters going to be enough to hold this up? I mean, the best shows that utilize this genre are ones that make the characters in the world just as interesting as the robots themselves. If, like, with a show like Big O, I'm not saying to myself, whenever Big O is not on screen, I'm not saying, where's Big O? Why am I not seeing him fighting? Why am I watching these boring people? I mean, this is the thing. The world and the characters are just as interesting, if not more, and that's the case with the best shows that utilize this genre. And that's what's worrying about Pacific Rim. Is Guillermo del Toro going around that direction? Are these characters going to be enough to hold this film up? And that's what's worrying me. I mean, Guillermo del Toro's films have always suffered in the dialogue spectrum simply because, obviously, English is not his native language, so I can forgive that, but still, I mean, it could benefit from having a script got to go over it just to see if this dialogue is more accessible, because sometimes it can sound very unrealistic. I mean, I noticed that a lot in the Hellboy films, but still, I am looking forward to this film. I really do want it to succeed, and anything that I've been saying may be thrown out of the water when I see it. I mean, I could just fall head over heels in love with it. I could absolutely adore it. I mean, I don't want these criticisms to delve my expectations of it. At the minute, I've got pretty neutral expectations, pretty optimistic. So I'm going in with an open mind. I'm not going in saying, "Oh, this is going to be rubbish." It's just Evangelion. Well, I don't get why people keep saying that. It's not Evangelion. I mean, it has more in common with many other things. I mean, Evangelion has not hardly anything to do with it, but still, I don't get that comparison that many people make. But regardless, I do want this film to succeed, and any problems I'm having just stems from what the trailers are lacking in offering. I mean, the good thing about each trailer is, at least the ones from I've seen, that every trailer, I feel like I haven't seen everything. That there's a fight scene that's been hidden, that they're keeping all the best for when you actually see the film, which is always good. That's probably the best way to go. Like, each fight, I reckon that there's another one in the film that's we haven't seen yet, that we haven't even like scratched the surface on. I feel like we're waiting on that, so that's what I'm really, really hoping I see. Because if at the rate this is going, even each trailer has been giving me more and more. Each trailer has been getting me more invested, and I hope this film completely makes me fall in love with it, because I want this film to do good. I want other franchises to spawn from this. I want this to establish. If anything, even if this film's bad, I want it to do commercially well. I want it to destroy Grown Ups 2's box office, because the first one was ugh, terrible. I don't want Grown Ups 2 to soak up this box office. I want this to eat up the box office. I want it to do absolutely well. I want it to let other films like this establish right now. Don't just let Transformers own the box office, because if Michael Bay keeps getting money, then he's going to keep making crap Transformers movies, and we don't want that. Come on, guys, you got to just give this film a chance. I urge you to go out and see it. I urge you to give it a shot, regardless of what I think. But that's personally what I feel. I feel like that this film might go in like a really bad direction, but at the minute, each trailer's getting me more optimistic, and I really hope it does succeed. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the film. And when the film comes out, I will do a full review of it, and hopefully, this film will be as good as each trailer has made it out to be. Pacific Rim is owned by Warner Brothers and Legendary Pictures, so all the rights are reserved to them. And this is the RRR Station signing.